Thanks everyone for joining our CIPS and SkillsTX event on unlocking the potential of the SFIA framework. I'm Jonathan Elias, the Chief Marketing Officer at CIPS, and with me is John Kleist, who is the SkillsTX Chief Growth Officer. The agenda today is we'll provide a brief summary of the SFIA framework. We'll then jump into an intro to SFIA 9 Beta. We'll talk a little bit about how CIPS is using SFIA and how IT professionals can use SFIA for assessing skills and career planning, and also talk about how you can use SFIA for events, professional development, certification, accreditation, mentorship, and jobs. And finally, we'll end with a question period. So during this presentation, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation during the question section. So briefly, before we get started, just a little bit about CIPS. CIPS has been around since 1958, sharing standards and best practices for IT professionals. We're a federation of 9 CIPS provincial societies that license IT professionals locally and abroad. And each CIPS provincial society is a community of IT professional members, providing networking and professional development opportunities. CIPS has our ISP designation, which has been around since 1989 and is the only legally recognized designation for IT professionals in Canada. CIPS also has our ITCP designation, which was launched in 2008, and it's accredited by IP3 and has IP3P accreditation, and is also aligned to SFIA level 5 in particular, which we'll be talking about in this presentation. If you are interested in becoming a CIPS member, just briefly, we have our skill assessment and career planning tool provided by SkillsTX, certification of IT professionals, networking opportunities, events and professional development, community discussion forum. You can volunteer to build new skills and contribute. We have a niche IT job board and a variety of discounts on products and services. And you can learn more at cips.ca, or you can email at info@kips.ca. So today we're discussing the SFIA framework, which is the skills framework for the information age. It's over 121 defined skills. I believe in the SFIA 9 Beta, it's about 134 skills. And SFIA defines skills and competencies required by IT professionals who design, develop, input, and manage and protect data and technology. SFIA has a global footprint. It's in over 180 countries and translated in over 12 languages. And an industry role is comprised of 1 or more SFIA skills. So an industry role can be built from SFIA levels of responsibility and SFIA professional skills. It's not just an IT framework. It also includes non-IT skills. So it can be used for wider industry roles. So there are a lot of IT roles and positions that also require non-IT skills. And we'll see some of that in this presentation. SFIA, it's also not to be used just by large companies, but it can be used by small companies or individuals, or it can also be used by countries themselves for national skills and competency initiatives. It's just a brief zoom out of what the SFIA framework looks like. This is the SFIA 9 Beta, which we'll discuss briefly. And you can see that SFIA, it's organized into various skill areas. Each area lists the various skills, and each skill has levels from 1 to 7 and a description of what that skill is at that level. You'll notice some of the levels, they don't have anything for the early level, 1, 2, and 3, for example. Usually for more senior skills, there's only skills and descriptions at the higher levels. On the right-hand side, you can see that there are 7 levels, with level 1 being follow, all the way up to level 7, where you can set strategy, inspire, and mobilize. Just a quick glimpse of SFIA and how CIPS is using it. CIPS is using the SFIA through SkillsTX and the Skills Assessment and Career Planning tool. So CIPS members, they assess their current IT skills with this international SFIA framework. And they start by taking a variety of surveys to discover their current skills. And once they complete those surveys, they get a nice skills report listing all the various skills they have at various levels, as well as a description of that skill at that level. Our CIPS members can then use the planner to update their skills throughout the year, and also set career goals and compare the skills that they have to the skills that they need for future roles in order to progress in their career. And then through this tool, they can also create an action plan to help develop targeted skills. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to John, who is going to talk a little bit more about SFIA and the SFIA 9 beta, as well as a little bit about SkillsTX. So thanks, John, for joining us, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. That was a great introduction. I appreciate it. So get it going. So real quick, so some of the key updates in SFIA 9 beta, which is currently under review, is they've introduced some new skills categories. We've improved some of the skill. They've improved some of the skill definitions across the entire portfolio of skills. There's updated levels of responsibility to reflect some changes in the workforce, some more focus on sustainability practices. Updated cybersecurity skills you're going to see is very prevalent, probably second or third most important thing about SFIA 9. What is number one, far and away, is the incorporation of AI and machine learning into the digital workforce. We have an increased focus on ethical AI. If you've seen the movie Terminator, when Skynet became self-aware, we want to create a world where humans and AI are working alongside to achieve a greater mission. An increased focus on digital transformation, leadership skills. The pandemic certainly fueled a lot of the world where what was once no longer considered a digital company. A lot of organizations and industries got flipped on their head, and now all of a sudden they are. Increased support for digital risk, digital resilience, cyber risk. It's coming hot and heavy now. The endless amounts of hacking and malware and data privacy concerns, and SFIA and the foundation are really trying to make sure that they continue to focus on that area so that you, whether you're an individual, organization, or government, are equipped with the right skills and competencies to address it. And expanded data science and analytics skills. Everything's moving to being able to leverage tools that, whether you went and got officially trained or a degree in data science, if you're not doing something with data science and the tools that exist out there, you will be soon. So diving in a little bit further, just to give you a little more granularity to it, AI and machine learning, in my opinion, it's as big as the internet or the Industrial Revolution or the invention of a web browser. Some of the major things, AI is as big, if not bigger than any of those technological advancements, in my humble opinion. So responding to that industry demand, just like everything else SFIA has been about, there's a disparate language, terminology, etc., around AI and ML, and we're addressing that so that we can take that same approach that SFIA uses and apply it to AI and emerging technologies. Supporting the ethical piece of AI in implementation. AI can be served for many good purposes and many bad. And we're trying to lead a future where we're driving organizations to build the right skills and competencies to keep AI in check, I guess you could say. Enabling the workforce transformation. I've watched myself just in the last couple of months with this Coach Pilot, and we're a new Microsoft partner, and having Copilot and some of the AI tools that have helped me take some of the daily grunt work, whatever monotonous tasks, and make me able to focus more on leadership transformation and such. SFIA is doing the same thing and trying to have those tools help you be more successful and efficient. and promoting interdisciplinary collaboration around AI and ML. AI is going to touch everything, and if the AI doesn't touch it, it's going to be a robot, right? So the key here is getting a cross-trained, multidisciplinary team of people that can address issues almost real time is the workforce of the future around this. And future-ready workforce. You might call it a hype, marketing hype. You'll see it from vendors and stuff, but I don't really think there's a better way to describe it. And by incorporating these, emerging technologies at the core of your workforce development strategies, will make sure that your organization is capable of handling any technological advancement, because SFIA has a 2-year refresh rate, right? You're never going to be left behind because you didn't keep up if you're using SFIA as your guiding light. In cybersecurity, they're really diving further into covering cybersecurity domains like threat intelligence, vulnerability research, advanced incident response, becoming more and more critical. We're trying to equip organizations to become more proactive in their cybersecurity defenses, hunting threats instead of waiting for them to come to you, enabling more continuous monitoring and using AI and predictive to anticipate what's coming, right? Integration of cybersecurity skills with AI. I'm going to throw it in here for while we're recording. If you want to play a drinking game, every time we say I have a drink, AI, have a drink. But AI is, presenting unique challenges to us. We need to ensure that organizations and individuals implement best practices that safeguard us, as AI becomes deeply ingrained in pretty much every technology stack that you're covering. Updated skills for compliance and governance. Pretty much every country, every ISO standard, every audit includes some level of, do you have a team capable of supporting your IT strategies and goals? One of my personal missions is to try to get a more comprehensive assessment or audit of your digital skills and competencies when there is a cybersecurity breach or a data incident. Most of the current standards, if you give them a list of the training courses somebody completed in their CVs, you'll pass your audit. But that doesn't really mean they have the competence, or if they're in the right role, or that they have the right skills. More focus on data science and analytics. Data science problems are becoming more and more complex, right? And ML is teaching itself faster than we can imagine, right? We're going to have an enhanced focus on data governance. We talked a little bit about there. Yeah, the actual management of the data and the digital assets in your organization. And SFIA 9, now that you can mine large, giant data sets and come up with predictive and prescriptive analytics results from large data sets, being able to turn those data sets into a compelling story or something that's going to resonate with your leadership team or the board is a story that resonates with me, as I just mined all of SkillsTX's LinkedIn data for the last year, and I was able to have AI turn it into a presentation when I started with staring at a spreadsheet with 10,000 rows or something like that. And AI did 90% of the work for me. Amazing. Integration with AI and emerging tech, as I alluded to a bit earlier, SFIA has a 2-year refresh rate. So everything that's coming, quantum computing, advancements in health sciences and technology, all of this stuff is already being tracked years ahead. And when you go to a global standard like SFIA, you don't have to worry about internal resources and such to be keeping as much track. I don't want to say not, you don't have to keep track, because emerging technology monitoring is incredibly important to your organization. But knowing that you don't have to invest the resources to have 10 people updating your own internal proprietary framework every year or two is something that should help you be more efficient. To the individuals on this call that are looking to advance in their career, not necessarily from an organizational perspective, there's some updated career pathways in there that the SFIA Foundation provides, typically around the roles that you just saw, cybersecurity, data resiliency, and such. Uh, Again, inclusion of new emerging skills, making sure that you can stay relevant as the digital world transforms. An emphasis on continuous learning. It's one of the things that really resonates to me personally. I started a hashtag a few weeks ago. It's hashtag self-learning economy. And the world that we live in now, there's an unlimited amount of resources available to you, whether it's LinkedIn Learning, your learning management provider, or Skillsofts of the world. It's no longer, you can take a doctoral program from MIT for free, right? So it's no longer about having a training plan, going away for a week. Not that that isn't important. It's about incorporating it into your ways of work, both in your personal and your professional development. SFIA 9 is really trying to make it easier, as we alluded to with our live transcription going on here, improved accessibility. Uh, so we're working hard to try to make sure that the framework is more easy for everyone to consume, all the way down to the newest comers to the digital workforce who might have little to no experience with digital tech at all coming into their journey. And to support that, like I said, they're wanting to make sure that SFIA is a framework that if you've coming to whatever point in life that you're at right now, you can enter with SFIA. You have digital skills. I would challenge that almost everybody has digital skills. You're checking in on a digital time clock. You have an advanced piece of technology. If you have a cell phone of anything from the last 10 years, everybody has digital skills. Using a framework like this makes you understand that you do and confident that you do, right? So trying to make you feel more equipped that you can. SFIA 9 updates that are going to be important to the organizations. This is a unified skills framework. It's a countrywide standard in many countries now, including Australia, New Zealand. The Collective X project in South Africa is all built around SFIA. Saudi Arabia uses it. CIPS, who has invited us to join here, uses it for their Alberta project. Uh, it can do some pretty amazing things when everybody speaks the same language, and you get that power of objectivity across the organization. Big impact for strategic workforce planning, SWP, people analytics, whatever you want to call it. Over the last few months, I've really been collaborating with some of the world's senior leaders in people analytics and strategic workforce planning. And similar to a previous life of mine, I guess I was an early adopter. I worked for a predictive analytics AI ML company back in 16, and the smartest people in the world. We were headquartered in Cambridge, Mass. I was working with MIT and Harvard doctoral folks, and they still spent 60 to 80% of their time trying to normalize and standardize data. It's quite unfortunate that 8 years later, over the last few months, I've met with some of the most brilliant minds in my life in this space, and they're spending 60 to 80% of their time trying to consolidate and normalize data instead of putting all that thought leadership to work. To organizations, whether you like it or not, AI and this strategic emerging tech is coming. You don't really get a choice. There's not really many future-proof industries left where if you're not going to become digital, you can still survive and thrive. So getting ahead of this or catching up, the time is now to make sure that you have a competitive advantage, because if you don't, just like the pandemic proved, you'll probably be left behind. And I alluded a little bit to it earlier, but it's another big passion of mine is the workforce of the future is not going to be defined by job roles, job descriptions that are so structured. You're starting to see it move now with Agile and Scrum and different approaches to building teams. But the future, as I see it, is building teams of cross-trained, cross-skilled, high talent folks in near real time to address near real time business challenges. And when you have a real time skills inventory aligned to a language like SFIA, it doesn't matter if you're in Bangkok, Bangalore, Berlin, or Boston. It's all the same. The last slide here on this section is what can we ask of you, right? SFIA and the SFIA Foundation are a nonprofit, and the continuous evolvement of the framework is driven predominantly by volunteers and the community, the Giants community that has leveraged SFIA for 20 plus years. So July, they launched the SFIA 9 beta program. There's a webinar on the website that's going to pop up here that you can watch that'll tell you everything more comprehensively than the overview that I gave you today. I'd ask you to download the materials, compare them against your current roles and skills, see how they align. If this SFIA is new to you, you might be like, oh my gosh, that's mind-blowing. Or there are many proprietary talent frameworks out there that we run across organizations that are very mature in this capacity. Their stuff is just full of tons of vendor specific mumbo jumbo and not the right people analytics. But take a look at SFIA 9, see if it fits in with the way you go about measuring and assessing your digital talent. Document it and submit it back to the SFIA Foundation. Time is of the essence here. I don't know exactly what day they're going to close, but SFIA 9 does officially launch on October 30th. So I would say the next week or two would be ideal. And engage with the community. There's a SFIA users LinkedIn group. There's message boards out there. CIPS has an active community with the message board. We'd like to see more activity happening on. SFIA is a community. So if this stuff excites you, I welcome you to come and join us in the SFIA community. There's a link to the website that has all of the release notes and everything for SFIA 9. I don't know if that'll translate over to the video, but it's there on the screen. Or just go to the SFIA Foundation website and it's right there front and center. I guess, Jonathan, I'm going to move on to the couple of slides I have about SkillsTX, and then we'll pass it over to how you bring the two together to provide a solution and tool for your members and community. So I work for SkillsTX. I'm the Chief Growth Officer here, and we have a software platform that brings this SFIA framework to life. We've been a partner with CIPS for 3-4 years now, working to help your membership and the organizations that participate in CIPS to understand the skills they have today and plan for skills that they're going to need tomorrow. So real quickly, who is SkillsTX? We're a SFIA Foundation accredited partner. We're also a SFIA Foundation training provider. SFIA does have some credentials or digital badges you can earn for being a SFIA consultant. CIPS has quite a few SFIA certified assessors on staff that can issue badges for what SFIA skills and competencies you have. And we're also a Microsoft co-sell partner with a transactable offer in the Azure marketplace. I'll try not to be too salesy, but if you have a Microsoft enterprise agreement, which most organizations do, you can use your existing Microsoft Azure funds to buy this talent experience platform. So what are we at SkillsTX? I'm sure you can hear my passion. Our commitment is really in trying to help humanity unlock their passion for potential, your passion for potential, empowering individuals and organizations to realize what you're capable of and develop the skills and competencies to build yourself professionally and personally. We're trying to evangelize the infinite possibilities that there are with SFIA. Been here going on 3 years now, and I joke with my family and a lot of the people I work with, sometimes it's more like a church because when you use a common language, there's a multitude of possibilities. that can happen, whether it be employee experience, succession planning. The opportunities are limitless, really. We're trying to empower a digital ready society. I'm sure that's what you've heard me say over the last few minutes here is, we're trying to help individuals, organizations, and governments to solve the digital skills crisis. The hashtag out there will say digital skills gap. It's a crisis that we're facing here. Some countries are facing that crisis more than others. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the United States. In America, we have so many people with so many digital skills that I don't believe we're facing the challenge of some of the countries around the world that are not as advanced as we are. We're committed at our core that as we move to a more global workforce, all the traditional barriers to it that have been inhibiting us from progress are removed. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build inclusive opportunities. No matter your stance on DEI, it's the hot word here in America. I don't want to get into politics, but one thing everybody can rally around is objectivity. If you are stakeholder relationship management, level 6, skill proficient, it's valuable to know that data. Whatever you want to do with it from there, that's up to you. Pardon me. Our platform really helps you to actually do the skills assessments at scale, right? And conduct gap analysis of that data. Our platform is powered by Microsoft Power BI. As I mentioned, we're a Microsoft partner, so there's about 50 different reports that are in our tool that you can just open up on demand. But because it's built on the Microsoft stack, I'm really excited to see the future when people start connecting all of this SFIA data over to their other predictive and AI and ML tools and getting them all to talk to each other. The future about that is quite exciting. Career pathways, as I mentioned earlier, our tool has more than 600 career pathways built in. You can load yours and make it all map your particular skills organization, or you can look to some of the global frameworks and see if it makes more sense to align to something like Australian Computer Society. And working to make sure that all of this is designed to facilitate connectivity across the organization and alignment throughout it all. Detailed reports and analytics on all of it, and give you guys a bunch of trends so that you can make informed, data-driven decisions, whether it be for talent acquisition, the next person who needs to be promoted. I challenge that most organizations today do not have near the amount of people analytics data to support the decisions that they make. So quickly, some benefits to the individuals. You can go onto the SkillsTX website right now, take a free SFIA assessment. You can go through the CIPS membership website. They offer free SFIA assessments to all of you there as well if you're already a CIPS member. You can get personalized skills insights. You can, no matter of whether, if you're new to the digital workforce, it'll take you 10 minutes. If you're a 20, 30-year digital professional, it might be closer to an hour to get a SFIA aligned skills inventory that you can use to benchmark against your global peers. You can use that platform, even in the free version, those 600 plus job descriptions that I told you are in there. So once you've identified gaps, you can look and see what programs are available. When you're using our actual enterprise or business platform, I'll go with a lot of the larger e-learning providers of the world have mapped their courseware and their programs to SFIA. So if your level 4 project management knowledge and the job you'd like is level 5 project management proficient, it'll show you what are all of the programs, whether it be a self-paced e-learning course, an upcoming class, getting yourself a mentor, finding a coach. All of those things are now aligned and cascade down to what you're actually trying to achieve. Career progression, aligned with everything I just said there. You can look and see what you want next, but if you just started in the digital workforce and you're working for a relatively mature skills-based talent organization, you can map your plan from I have almost no digital skills to I want to be the chief digital officer of this place in the next 10 years. When you have a consistent framework, you can paint that vision and you can make it happen. Future proof, drink, AI, drink, haha. But this is going to allow you to focus on the skills that truly matter. Even in my non-technology friends that I bowl with and mingle with, I've become more and more passionate about how AI is going to impact their jobs. And whether you're in tech or out of tech, you're not getting a choice at this point. But when you have a framework like SFIA, it allows you to know and focus on skills that AI isn't going to be able to take from you. Let's try to make this more quotable. AI isn't going to take your job. It's going to be the people that master AI to do the things that allow humans to free their creative spirits and innovate. Uh, there are many strengths and weaknesses of strengths in AI, but humans still have a whole lot too. And if you invest in maturing and growing the skills that we do better than AI, you're going to win. And data-driven decision making, beat that into your head. It is the future. Leveraging tools, people, and analytics is how decisions are going to be made. Use that, right? When you use our platform, you can go in there and compare your data against the world data and pick the right path for you. To organizations and enterprises and large governments too, as Jonathan alluded to, getting comprehensive organizational insights on the skills and competencies of your team. Uh, I challenge you today, go to one of your senior leaders, ask them if one of the big four audit firms came in and asked you for a digital skills inventory that looked a little more something like Jonathan showed you with the all of the different levels of responsibility and defined terminology. What could you produce today? That's a great place to start. Targeted workforce development, another really passionate part for me. How many times have you been in a training course that your boss put you in? Right? This changes the dynamic, which is beneficial both to the organization and to the individual when the individual owns their skill development. Their skill development becomes aligned to the requirements of the business, and the motivational factor changes from my boss wants me to do it to I want to do it. Talent mobility. It's another marketing word, hype word, 2024. You're going to hear it all over the place, but there really isn't another better way to describe it. It's pretty well known that it's usually less expensive and more efficient to upskill or reskill somebody who already has a lot of the proprietary knowledge and culture of your organization than it is to outsource or recruit for new technology, especially in emerging tech, right? uh, Being able to identify and strategically maneuver the workforce that you have today to prepare for the workforce of tomorrow is a much better approach than being behind the eight ball. Strategic workforce planning, again, our tool is a powerhouse in letting you see where you are and what do you need and putting action to it, creating action plans, submitting evidence that you've accomplished it, submitting that somebody having scientific objective evidence to go back to your leadership that we've moved people from knowledge to proficiency to competency. That is game changing. Very few, just there's many organizations that can give you a list of 62 certifications that their team has, but very few can show you scientific objective data that you can go to the thesaurus or the dictionary, the SFIA Foundation website, and validate that somebody can do what they say they have been assessed to do. Data-driven decisions, drink again, haha, but this is all moving to real time dashboards. It's no longer sit down with your employees or your team once a year, quarterly, come up with a training plan. This is becoming real time. We have a Microsoft Teams app in beta that if you go to a training course on, let's say, project management, and you're using the Microsoft technology stack, if you're using Viva, it's already tracking some of your ways of work and what your strengths and weaknesses are and the things you said you were going to do today that you didn't, etc. It's now going to say and pop up on your Teams instance here and say, hey, John, it looks like you've started to actually practically apply some of the skills you learned in the training course that you took 2 weeks ago. Let's go in and update your profile. Right now, that's still a little bit of manual. And as I introduce you to some of the AI stuff coming, uh, it, it's going to happen even faster and more integrated into your way of work, or it's just going to happen. It's no longer going to be a something you think about. So our platform allows you to do comprehensive skills mapping, right? Taking the disparate job descriptions and role profiles and things that exist in your organization and coming up and finding out what is it that these people that you're looking for or already have are actually doing. Look through your job roles and job descriptions and your open job requisitions, especially at larger organizations. We're going to do a quick tour on AI and I'll show you one of the largest organizations in the world and how broken their job descriptions are. But we provide consistency to mapping that all to a globally accepted framework, SFIA. We bring some automation to the whole assessment process. As I said, if you want to get into SFIA, it's all out there to do pretty much manually on their website. We make it come to life easy and fast. Kind of touched on some of these things here, ongoing skills gap analysis, being able to personalize it all. And at the backbone, it's all powered on the Microsoft Azure and available on the Azure Marketplace. So it's open, there's APIs to connect to your learning management systems, to your skill development platforms, to your ERP platforms. To become a Microsoft co-sell partner, we had to jump through a lot of hoops and fill out a lot of forms, and you can be assured that if this is something that you'd like to use, it's sitting on a very enterprise application, highly secure. It's going to pass all your security audits and such. So we're going to get into the fun part. That was a lot of presenting. I've done a lot of that in my life. But I got to tell you, the last 2 months of my life since meeting Coach Pilot have been some of the most fulfilling months of my life. I am a part of the dispersed digital workforce. I'm one of few people in the Western Hemisphere that that work for SkillsTX and are really pushing this SFIA stuff. And when I met Coach Pilot, it's your new AI powered mentor. So Coach Pilot has been meticulously trained, specializing in skills-based or skills-first talent strategies, right? Using SFIA framework to make it all happen, using the SFIA framework to make it all happen. We've given it precise, actionable way. It's going to give you precise, actionable insights that can help individuals, organizations, governments to align the workforce with your strategic goals. Coach Pilot has deep expertise in SFIA and industry best practices to make sure that you can navigate these rough waters of digital times right now, and make sure you're future proof. This Coach Pilot, although it's only 2 months old, is accelerating the time to value of whether your goal or objective is to become a skills-first, skills-based talent organization, to adopt SFIA, tools like AI and Coach Pilot here that I'm gonna show you here shortly. Take what used to be really expensive consulting services and take 80 to 90% of that work off of your path to value of getting some of the upside and the impacts and the results you're looking for out of making that transition. So when I started this webinar, not Coach Pilot, ChatGPT was crashed globally. So we're going to go through 3 fun scenarios. One, we're going to identify the skills of somebody with very little prompting of GPT. And I'll show you how easy it is, whether ChatGPT is working or not right now. I have some screenshots and stuff here ready to show you. The second one we're going to do is we're going to take a combination of a LinkedIn profile and a CV and show you what that might look like if you took it and made it SFIA optimized. And the last one I'm going to run through here real quick. Let me get a quick check of the time. Looks like I don't know. I don't know if we're on tracker here or not, Jonathan, or if I took up your whole meeting, but uh, we're going to do a quick job description re-engineer where we're going to take a more archaic job and show you what it'll look like in our future SFIA world. So I think in the interest of time, Jonathan, knowing you still got some slides to cover, I'm going to go the screenshot routes that I already have up on my screen rather than do it real time. But you can see I'm in right now into our Coach Pilot, which is just, like I said, a privately trained GPT built on the ChatGPT platform. And the first one I'm going to show you here is that I asked it to take the job description below and highlight any archaic people analytics metrics, mandatory degrees, expensive vendor certifications, etc. And wasn't afraid to say, be in your face that this job is looking for a senior human insights manager. And yet the job requirement doesn't have anything to do with SFIA. But as you look, you can see it really pulled out very quickly that their job description at their core does not really have qualitative metrics, right? And you can see that it actually came up with a new job title here for it. What is the roles and what are the SFIA skills that are going to be needed, right? This is a big change, right? I won't go too far into I took the person I was working with and said, hey, now let's take your resume and CV and make it match. The other one I wanted to show you, Dr. Sandra Laughlin. I'd encourage you to follow her on LinkedIn. She's an absolute rock star leading this space. She works for probably the largest company you never heard of, EPAM Systems. They do a lot of the software architecture and engineering for some of the biggest tech firms in the world. And with almost no prompting, you can see I asked Coach Pilot to find everything she could about Sandra Laughlin. I didn't even tell it that she worked at EPAM or where she lived or anything. And you can see it went out and found out, she's the chief learning scientist. I love that title. If you want to pick one for yourself and this stuff excites you, that's an awesome title. What excites me and really excited her is how quickly it recognized. To Jonathan's point, all the way back at the beginning of this call, is SFIA isn't just about IT and digital, right? You can see that it picked up real quick that Sandra, her top skills are L&D, OCM, innovation, and building relationships. It's not coding. It's not app dev. It's not portfolio management. And we gave it almost nothing from a data perspective, right? And then I asked it for SFIA, what are her levels of autonomy and influence for each of them, right? To John, what you saw at the beginning of Jonathan. This used to take hours and days and consultants to get there, right? And the last one I have up here is another job description where I asked it to rewrite the job description. as, what did we start at here? We started out as, this one said it's Procter and Gamble, one of the largest organizations that you ever, IT operations specialist. That's one of those titles that gets me every time. What does that mean? Right? So open to interpretation. But what you can see Coach Pilot did here is it highlighted it, said, what are we really talking about? And at what level is this person? You know, it's relatively junior positions, level 2, level 3. And what does the SFIA optimized job description look like? We're looking for somebody with this. These are the SFIA skills. We want at what level. This used to require teams of smart people to take your existing job descriptions, job roles, CVs. This is by no means perfect, but it's 90+% of the way there. And what used to take an hour now takes 10 minutes. So when we talk about the time to value, whether it be for you as an individual, you as an organization, or you as a country trying to address the digital skills crisis, Coach Pilot can be your skills first, skills based mentor, your Sherpa, your guide, your colleague, your friend. Every time I think to myself, hey, Coach Pilot, I wouldn't want to ask it that. I do. And I won't go through my entire history and put it out there for public, but I use it all day, every day for skills based things. And it still has the power of regular GPT as its backbone. So capable of building images, take it all, turn it into a presentation. AI is changing your job, whether you like it or not. I'd love for SFIA, CIPS, and SkillsTX to be a part of helping you succeed in it. Jonathan, I'm going to pass it back to you. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, John, for that overview of SFIA 9 Beta, as well as SkillsTX and Coach Pilot. I'm just going to share my screen there now. Can you see that? Can you see the SFIA 9 feedback page? Yeah, awesome. So this is basically just showing the email that if you would like to provide feedback on SFIA 9 Beta, email there is updates@sfia-online.org. If you do want to provide feedback, I would definitely say provide that as soon as possible, as the current publication date is scheduled for October 30th. And in that image, you can kind of see the process that they went there for the beta and how it'll be launching soon. So we only have a little bit of time left, but I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how CIPS is utilizing SFIA and how IIT professionals in general can utilize it. I'm going to just briefly talk about using it for skill assessment, career planning, professional development, certification, mentorship, accreditation, and for your job search. So this is on the CIPS website and how we're using SFIA through the SkillsTX skill assessment tool. Our members, they can access it on underneath the certification link or on the main homepage. There's a big button for IT skill assessment and career planning. And when you enter the SkillsTX tool, the first part is basically taking a variety of surveys, and the surveys essentially help you discover what various skills you have and at what levels. If you are taking the survey, especially if you are a CIPS member, one thing I would recommend is that if you like surveys, you can select the whole framework at the beginning. Or if you are maybe not a huge fan of surveys, you just want to get a quick snapshot of your skills, you can pick something maybe in the middle, like digital professional or even advanced beginner, which will give you a brief output of your IT skills and levels. But then you can go to the planner section and spend a little bit more time in order to build your skills report. So this SkillsTX tool, basically you take a variety of surveys. You can take them at your leisure, whenever you would like. They give you a glimpse of how long each survey takes, and the surveys are for a variety of areas and focus. So one example is strategy and architecture. It'll ask you some questions to determine your competency, and you'll basically progress through each of the surveys. And this is showing an example of how the survey is not only asking questions about IT skills, but also non-IT skills like relationship engagement or people and skills, because there are a variety of IT roles that require non-IT skills as well. So you'll progress through the surveys, and once you complete the surveys, you get a nice little skills report, which demonstrates your general attributes at what SFIA level, as well as description of what that means. And this is a nice report that you can provide to potential clients or employers, just demonstrating the various, specific skills that you have there, as well as at what levels, and then descriptions as well. So this is the nice little report of your skills based on SFIA levels that you get after you complete those initial surveys. And once you complete the surveys, then you can get into the planner section. And so the planner section allows you to edit the skills that you've been assessed at. You can just click the little edit profile button, and it'll show you, you can demonstrate all the skills that you haven't been assessed yet, and you can input the skill level that sounds like is most closest to what you have. Each of these will provide a description, and you can go through it and edit it until you have a skills profile that accurately represents what you have. So this is showing you how you can edit your skills in SkillsTX. You click the little edit button. It provides the description at the level. In this case, I'm looking at autonomy, and maybe I read the description of level 4, which sounds more like me. I can easily update that, or the specific skills as well. Again, I can edit that, read the definition of the level. So here, SFIA level 2, as well as demonstrating or indicating if I have knowledge. Maybe I just took a course. I'm proficient, I have some work experience with it, or competent, or I'm over 80% competent in that skill. So you've got your SFIA skills and levels. After that, you can do some career planning. And so again, this is using that SkillsTX tool. We can click assign a future job role, which will overlay on top of your existing skills and show any skills gaps that you have and any professional development that you might need to take. So in this example, I'm selected a cybersecurity role, and this is using the Canadian NOC rules from the Government of Canada. You can select one of those roles. It'll show you a percentage matched based on the current skills that you've been assessed at. And then you can overlay that on top of your skills. So in this example, it's showing that for this cybersecurity role, for the general attributes, I have all those. However, for the specific skills, I'm missing some skills in information security and information assurance. So this is showing me that if I want this cybersecurity role, these SFIA levels are not at the requirements yet. So I need to take some professional development in order to work towards my goal of achieving that role. And this is just showing those NOC roles from the Government of Canada website that have been mapped to SFIA and are in SkillsTX so that you can overlay on your existing skills assessment. So once you identify what skills gaps you have, then it's a nice way to do some professional development and training in order to obtain those required skills. So in this example in SkillsTX, I'm clicking the action plan, and it automatically shows me what skills gaps I have. It's showing in yellow if those are nice to have, or in red, it's showing those are requirements. So in this case, it's saying that I should do some professional development in requirements, definition, and management. So I can simply click the little add action button and then input and plan some professional development. So maybe it's a training course, maybe it's attending an event, maybe you're taking a mentorship program. Whatever it might be, is you can plan some professional development in order to achieve those skills at the required SFIA level. And now this is just a little bit about if you're looking for some professional development to fulfill those skills. CIPS also has a member benefit called Skills Wave, which provides curated professional development programs and courses. So instead of going to a variety of school websites and looking at their training and various continuing education options and what their pricing is, you can just come to this one-stop shop of providing a variety of courses and programs that have been curated for your professional development. And in this example, I found this Athabasca University Information Technology Leadership Program. And I just did some quick decoding into SFIA. First, in this example, just using the regular ChatGPT. So I just copied and pasted that description from the SkillsWave website for that program. And I simply asked ChatGPT, what SFIA skills and levels are obtained from completing the following course. And I just pasted that description. Now, it's limited information here, so you have to take the output with a grain of salt. But basically, it's telling me that if I were to take this program, that SFIA skills that I potentially could gain are listed, such as IT management, SFIA level 4, innovation, level 4, people management, level 4, and provides a brief description. So it's just an example of a nice way that if you're searching for professional development, you can translate it into SFIA and then cross-reference it with your skills assessment. So in that previous example, I showed the assessment that CIPS members complete, and they get an output of their various skills and their skills gaps. And then I can compare it to what's listed here and see if that is actually going to address my skills gaps and help me work towards my future goals.
Jonathan, can I add a quick tease for you?
Yeah, please.
Go back to the last slide that you were on there, please.
Yeah.
So when you have an instance, which you do, Coach Pilot can use your data. Like I know you did that in regular GPT. Next time you do that, you can do that in Coach Pilot, and it should already connect to all of the learning providers and everything you have set up in the instance.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a nice benefit, kind of combining that ChatGPT Coach Pilot with
And if
SFIA
it's connected to
with
talent
SkillsTX.
experience, the three
Yeah,
of them working together would make this even more intuitive to their particular organization or circumstance.
yeah, no, definitely. So I'm just gonna kind of go through this a little quickly because I think we're already 4 minutes over the hour. But just briefly, just showing you how CIPS certification program also uses SFIA. So CIPS has aligned our certifications to SFIA. So we have the ISP designation, which is the only legally recognized IT designation in Canada since 1989, and that has been aligned to SFIA Level 3. Then there's the ITCP, which is the internationally IP3P accredited designation, which is aligned to SFIA Level 5. And I briefly mentioned that portability of designations. So example, someone from the Australian Computer Society and their CP designation, which has also been aligned to SFIA, they can come to Canada and get the equivalent ITCP designation. And then finally, the AITP, which is for recent graduates from IT programs who don't yet have the required IT experience, that would be at SFIA Level 1. And just giving an example of what this looks like in order to get approved for CIPS certifications. So maybe you graduated from a non-accredited 2-year college program. You would need 7 years of IT experience and currently working at a minimum with SFIA Level 3. For the ITCP, same thing. If you have non-accredited 2-year college program that you graduated from, you would need 6 years of experience plus the last 2 years working at SFIA Level 5. Or there's also experience-only entry routes, which again link to SFIA levels and allow applicants to read the definitions of what is required. Now, when filling out the application, there's an education section, and the experience section is what I want to point out, is applicants, they document the experience that they have, relating it to SFIA. So these are the general attributes. So for example, business skills, they're going to document their most recent role and how they have business skills related to SFIA. And for each of these, they can click that SFIA link, get a description of what that means. And let's just say that they wanted to obtain the ISP designation, they would need to provide examples that demonstrate this level 3, or for the ITCP, they would need examples related to level 5 and demonstrate they have that business skills at SFIA Level 5. Another way that CIPS is using SFIA and SkillsTX is through our mentorship program for CIPS Alberta. CIPS Alberta, they launched an ICT mentorship program for immigrants early this year, which creates mentorship relationships with Alberta mentees seeking guidance in their Canadian IT professional career with experienced Canadian IT professionals and mentors, I should say. And both SFIA and SkillsTX are used to help with the matching process to match mentors and mentees based on their skills gaps. So this is harnessing the power of SkillsTX intelligent mentorship matching algorithm, where mentees are matched with mentors based on their skills gaps and their preferences. So in this example on the top here, you can kind of see that when mentees, they can select a variety of preferences. Maybe it's the program they're in, language that they prefer. Do they want to meet virtually or in person? Or maybe they have some specialization. But where the real magic happens is with the skills gaps that they have from that skills assessment. So this is an example of the skills assessment report that we just previously showed. And here it's showing, for example, in business skills, there's a gap. And in, what is this, information systems coordination, there's also a gap. So this mentee, they would be ideally matched with a mentor who has these skills. And when the mentee is searching for a mentor, they have a list of mentors that show the percentage of the match, basically based on their skills gaps, the percentage of the match of the mentor that has those skills that they're seeking to help them fulfill those skills gaps and achieve their career goal. And it also shows that the skills that they have and their preferences. So here it's a nice way to basically use SFIA, assessing your skills and comparing it to mentor skills in order to create that mentorship relationship. In terms of SFIA and accreditation, CIPS has a CIPS accreditation team that visits universities and colleges and reviews their IT programs. And the criteria, it uses outcome-based accreditation, focusing on the skills required for a particular occupational profile. And using those Government of Canada NOC codes that we talked about a few slides earlier, those were mapped to SFIA. And as you might have seen in a previous slide, that you can overlay those, or CIPS members can overlay those on their skills profile to see those gaps. Those same codes have also been used for accreditation for private and public programs outside of colleges and universities. So yeah, in addition to IT professionals using it for themselves, in this case, this is an example of how CIPS is using it for their accreditation to accredit universities and colleges or other programs. And now here's an example of decoding an event into SFIA, this time using the coach pilot that John talked about, which basically is an enhanced digital career mentor that is trained on SFIA. And in this example, I asked it about this upcoming CIPS event. I said simply, what SFIA skills and levels might be gained from attending the following event? And I just pasted the link. It was as simple as that. And again, this is limited information that I'm providing it. So again, take it with a grain of salt. But it very nicely showed me that if I, by attending this, here are some SFIA skills that I might gain or develop. And so it's saying digital transformation, level 5 or 6, project management, level 5, business process improvement, level 5 or 6. And again, I would compare this to the skill assessment that I took and the SFIA levels that I have, and in particular, the skills gaps that I have, and showing if these help to address those, and if this program or course or event would be beneficial for me to attend. And another example here is using SFIA for your job search. So in this example, I'm using the CIPS job board, and I simply asked ChatGPT Coach Pilot, I said, what SFIA skills and levels are required for the following job? And again, I simply pasted the link to this Manager of Information Technology job that was on the CIPS job board. And it provided the SFIA skills and levels that will likely be required. And again, here it's saying IT management, level 6 and 7, information security, level 6. And then again, I can compare it to my skills profile and my SFIA levels and see, okay, do I have these current skills? Am I the right fit for the job? And if not, then maybe I should take some professional development in order to develop these skills so that I have these skills for the future job that I'm looking for. And this final slide here is just talking about, I just did a big demonstration of how you can use SkillsTX as an individual IT professional or CIPS member. But as John also demonstrated, SkillsTX can be used by whole organizations to create a digital skills inventory, create a personalized skills development, and do some strategic workforce planning so that an organization can decide whether they want to upskill their employees or outsource or hire the required talents. And as a CIPS member, you also get a discount if you would like to use SkillsTX Business or Enterprise for your organization. And finally here, if you have any questions about CIPS, you can visit cips.ca or contact us at info@cips.ca. And if you'd like to provide any SFIA Beta 9 feedback, there's an email, updates@sfia-online.org. And they also have a page on their website which provides detailed breakdown of the feedback and how you can provide various kinds of feedback, whether it be something's missing or there's a typo or something else. It has a full description of how you can provide your feedback. And please do that soon because it will be launching in October.